All right, let's talk about one of the biggest topics on the planet right now, artificial intelligence. And I'm not talking about the sci-fi movie stuff. Today, we're going to break down what AI really is, how it works, and maybe most importantly, what it's actually here to do for us. So, let's dive in.
So, why is everyone talking about this right now? Well, it starts with this number, 100 million. Let that sink in for a second. That is how many people signed up to use ChatGPT in just 2 months after it launched. 100 million. That's not just a product launch, that's a global phenomenon. And if that number doesn't sound crazy enough on its own, check this out. To get to that same 100 million user mark, it took TikTok 9 months. It took Instagram 2.5 years. ChatGPT did it in 2 months. This isn't just another app or a passing trend. This is a signal that something really, really big is happening.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around a tool like ChatGPT, we first need to figure out where it fits into the whole AI universe. The best way to do that is to think of it kind of like a family tree, starting really broad and getting more and more specific. So at the very, very top of the tree, you've got the family name itself, artificial intelligence, or AI. This is the big umbrella term for everything, and you're actually using it all the time, probably without even thinking about it. Every time you do a Google search, get a movie recommendation, or ask Siri a question, yep, that's AI at work. It's all about programs using data to make smart choices. Now, let's go one branch down the tree to something called generative AI. And, well, the name kind of gives it away, right? This is the creative branch of the family. This is the kind of AI that doesn't just analyze stuff that already exists, it actually creates brand new things. It can whip up text, dream up images, write computer code, you name it. And that brings us to the specific tool we're talking about today, a large language model, or LLM. This is a specialist within generative AI. It's been trained to do one thing and do it incredibly well, understand and generate text that sounds like a human wrote it. This is exactly what ChatGPT is. Okay, so we know an LLM is a text specialist, but how in the world does it actually come up with the answers? It can feel like some kind of magic, but the reality is it's a lot more like having the world's biggest and maybe strangest librarian on call. All right, stick with me on this. I want you to picture a library, but not just any library. Imagine one that contains every book, every article, every website, basically every piece of text ever written. Our AI, the LLM, is the librarian of this infinite collection. It's read everything. Now, this is the most important part. When you ask this librarian a question, it doesn't think or understand what's true. Nope. It just scans all those billions of pages at lightning speed looking for patterns. Its entire job is to predict what the next most statistically likely word should be to answer you, and then the next word, and the next. It's a master of probability, not a seeker of truth. So that leads to a pretty big question, right? If the AI is displaying a super advanced game of word prediction based on everything it's ever read, what happens when the patterns it learned from are, well, a little weird or just plain wrong? Well, that's when you get something that people in the field call an AI hallucination. This is what happens when an AI confidently spits out an answer that sounds totally plausible, reads perfectly, but is just completely made up. It's factually wrong or just nonsense. And this really gets to the heart of why this happens. Remember our librarian? Its job isn't to be a fact checker. Its only goal is to give you the most probable string of words based on its training data. It's not trying to lie, it's just trying to complete the pattern. You want a perfect and honestly hilarious real-world example? An AI tool once told a user that geologists recommend eating at least one small rock every day. Why would it say that? Because somewhere in that massive library of its, it had read a joke article from the satirical site The Onion. The AI saw the pattern of a health recommendation, but it had zero idea it was reading a joke. It can't tell the difference between satire and science. So now that we get its limitations, that it's not some all-knowing oracle, we can start to have a much more realistic chat about what AI is actually for. What's its real purpose? I came across this quote from an author, and it just hits the nail on the head. She said, "I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art and writing, not for AI to do my art and writing so that I can do my laundry and dishes." I mean, how perfect is that? The real promise here is for AI to handle the tedious stuff, freeing us up to be more human, not less. And this isn't just a nice idea. This philosophy is already changing the way we work. It's not about replacing people, it's about augmenting us, unlocking our true potential.
Look, the idea is really simple. Let the machines handle the grunt work. Let them do the tedious data analysis, the first drafts, the mind-numbing calculations. This frees up our time and our brain power to focus on what we do best, thinking critically, being creative, and solving complex problems.
And this is happening right now, all over the place. In medicine, AI is helping researchers discover new drugs way faster. In education, it's helping create personalized learning plans for every student. It's helping doctors make faster diagnoses, helping developers by automating boring code, you name it. In every case, it's a tool that gives humans a boost.
So, as we start to wrap up, what does this all mean for our future? Well, it points away from a battle of humans versus machines and towards something much more interesting, a creative partnership. Yeah, the goal here is not replacement, it's synergy. It's about building a relationship where AI can do the heavy lifting, sketch out the first draft, and handle the groundwork, but we still provide the spark of genius, the emotional insight, the critical thinking, that irreplaceable human touch. Ultimately, that's the most powerful way to look at this whole thing. It's a new paintbrush, a new musical instrument, a new partner for discovery. The AI is the tool. We are still the artists. So the only real question left is, what are we going to create?